Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Chats with Children. I hope you're safe and well. I'm delighted to join by a repeat offender, if you would like to say, in Christina Lingham, who is the Executive Director. I have to look at this job title because it's quite a long one. Executive Director of Conferences and Fellow at Cambridge Health Tech Institute. And the reason we're catching up is because PEGS Boston is coming up. In fact, it's coming up in only a couple of weeks on May the 2nd to the 6th. So Christine and I are going to have a quick catch up and talk about what's going to be happening at PEGS and what people should look out for and why they should be there. So Christina, first of all, I know you've had a bit of COVID recently, so I hope you're feeling better. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. I'm finally on the rebound. I want to be well before this conference starts. As you know, we've been waiting for 3 years to be back in person, which is just unfortunate timing that the pandemic was new when we were about to have the 2020 event. But we're really excited to be back in person this year. We have a great program in store and 2 plenary keynotes and a young scientist keynote. So we'll bring everyone together in the new location, which I still have to wrap my brain around, the Heinz Convention Center in Boston, which is really nicely situated in Back Bay. So we're really happy to be in our new home. It's very bright and sunny. And this year, the attendance keeps ticking upwards, but right now it's over 2,000 participants and 150 exhibiting companies, but 150 research posters and 18 conferences overall. So it's very exciting for us. And this year, of course, it's both in person and virtual, and over 95% of the attendance will be in person. We'll have the virtual feed going on simultaneously for those who can't make it in the conference in person. But it's very exciting for us. There's a lot going on in the biologic space. And as you know, this conference spans engineering. Phage display is a prominent topic, bispecific antibodies, ADCs, protein expression, analytical, immunogenicity, oncology, novel targets is pretty much the gamut. And it's always been known as a place where people will network and also hear new science.
So Chris, I'm going to let you take a breath now, actually, because I was going to ask you some questions I didn't get a chance to ask you. You've already preempted most of my questions just with that intro. So let's go back a bit though. So you said obviously there's a number of tracks. So if you wouldn't mind just going over those tracks again that you said that are going to be running at PEGS in a couple of weeks. So what are the tracks and what are some of the highlights people can expect from those?
My memory, but no, one of the longest standing PEGS actually came out of the Phage Display Conference, which from the very first year I ran in 1997 just was an overnight success. And then we kept adding topics to it. So at this point, it's engineering antibodies. It's also a brand new topic this year. It's really taken off, called machine learning for protein engineering. So computational predictive approaches using AI and machine learning to for both discovery and development of biologics. So that's really exciting. That's gotten a lot of traction. I failed to mention before immunotherapy. That's a really important topic. The safety and efficacy of immunotherapy constructs, as well as new constructs in next generation CARs, TILs, TCRs, and also understanding the tumor microenvironment and how integral that is to having a successful oncology strategy, is understanding what the players are in the tumor microenvironment, what to target and what to be aware of. So we have those conferences. We've got oncology, which includes emerging targets and also antibodies for cancer therapy. Let's see, you asked, so analytical topics are key to developing biologics, expression is key, and also immunogenicity, looking at the latest methods to assess immunogenicity, to prevent immunogenicity, to predict it.
Right. And one thing I was going to ask you, because like you said, this is the first in-person PEGS that you've had for a few years now. So how much has the pandemic impacted the topics that you have selected this year compared to what you might have had 3 years ago? Because obviously there's been an explosion in, obviously because of the pandemic and the development of the vaccines, uh, ATMPs becoming very topical and so on, and various therapies now coming to the forefront, which were perhaps talked about as being the future, but now they're the present in some degree. So how much has the program changed because of what happened and has happened in the last 2 years compared to what it was previously?
I feel like it's the last couple of years, we thought it was really important to highlight both the vaccine development as well as antibodies to treat COVID symptoms. And now the audience is really sort of done with the COVID programming. So we've steered away from it this year. And not to say it's not extremely important, but I think that the downstream bioprocess issues around scaling up a vaccine distribution and monitoring safety, those are things that really affect downstream of PEGS. PEGS is mainly discovery. It's mainly platform development, engineering, and then further downstream development, optimization, and choosing the right candidate and developing that candidate. But the what we've seen for traction as far as COVID has really been engaging further downstream in the bioprocessing.
Sure. I suppose what I meant really was, and I think you've answered it anyway, was that more about in terms of topic specific, that the therapies have become more to the fore rather than the fact it's about COVID or so on. So really that's what I meant. But no, that's great to hear. Now, who are the sort of people who should be coming to PEGS then to learn more? So who are the sort of people that you're targeting that content to and saying, look, come, this is going to help you?
That's a great question. The mainstay of the PEGS audience tends to be benchtop scientists, but having said that, there's a lot of higher level executives because it's a large meeting, one of the largest in the biologics area. I would say it's a key meeting place for everyone across the board. So we get keynote speakers that stick around for the whole week, that network, that read the posters, that talk to other scientists. It's not just the benchtop scientists, but that makes up the majority of the PEGS attendees.
Right. And I was going to ask you, it's just escaped my head just as I was about to ask you. So never mind, I'm sure it'll come to me. Now, how will the virtual platform and attendees, what they receive, differ from those who've got the in-person presentation? I mean, obviously the networking and everything is different, and I get that, but in terms of the actual content that people consume in terms of the presentations and workshops, how do they differ from the virtual to the in-person audience?
So the platform we're using allows us to stream out. So for, as I said, 95% of the audience or higher are going to be in person. But if you're online, if you're not able to make it, you click into the platform, you're able to see those talks happening from the in-person speakers. And for the rare virtual speaker online, you'll see it there as well. So you'll be able to see all the PowerPoints. You'll be typing, if you're virtual, you're online, or a remote attendee, you'll be typing in your questions in the chat. So that will be different. So those of us on site will take questions from the live audience, the in-person audience, as well as reading those out on the chat. And if we run out of time, the chat is archived for up to a year. So people can go back and see what questions there were typed into the chat, and speakers can answer them after the fact. But it's really a great platform for the virtual audience to see almost everything. As we know, as we well know from being in the remote land for 2 years, it's not exactly the same. You don't get that organic networking that you do on site.
Sure.
But as far as the content is very similar, and the ability to ask questions is there. You just type into the chat.
Fine. And my question came back into my head. So the only other thing I was going to ask you in terms about the audience was, some events are perceived as very academic and academia led. Others are seen as very industry led, and some are a mixture. So where does PEGS fall in to that sort of line then in terms of audience? and content?
That's another great question. And PEGS really has both. As I said, I've seen the top level executives at biopharma companies. I've also seen, the benchtop scientists, but we see those benchtop scientists from academia too. So it's really a mix. As far as what's stronger, that's a really good question. You're challenging my knowledge there. I think that industry is probably stronger, maybe 2/3 to 1/3, but there's, of 2,000, over 2,000 attendees, there's certainly a lot of people from both, and they both tend to find the posters extremely valuable. There's a lot of new science at the posters at PEGS, and so there's a lot of networking going on at the posters as well as in the exhibit hall, hearing about new products that are being launched from a lot of the favorite vendors in the space.
Brilliant. Okay, well, look, fantastic. So there you go, viewers. Actually, there is going to be one other question I'm going to ask you is, apart from the program, which is obviously very comprehensive and it's got lots of stuff going on, what else are you doing in person at PEGS to make the event stand out, particularly as this is the first in-person event for a few years?
We're going to have a couple of receptions during the conference so that people will have that chance to network. We'll have breakout discussions so people have a chance to sit at a round table with their colleagues and interact with them, ask questions, do brainstorming and troubleshooting around common issues that people have, common obstacles, and brainstorming solutions to those. So the networking is extremely important, not just the organic running into somebody in the hall, and but also that facilitated networking.
Brilliant. Well, there you go, viewers. If you haven't registered for PEGS yet, you still can. The link will be above the video, so you can sign up for PEGS. As I say, it runs from the 2nd to the 6th, and it's a very big event with over 150 exhibitors. So there's going to be lots of content on the exhibition floor, as well as in terms of the program as well. And if you can't make it physically, then you can attend virtually as well, as Christina mentioned. So the links will be up there. And if you've got any questions about the program or anything about the event, then please get in touch with Christina. You can leave a comment below the video, and I'm sure she'll be happy to answer, or someone from the team will certainly answer if she can't answer it for you. So Christina, I wish you a full recovery, and hopefully I will see you at PEGS in person in a couple of weeks' time.
Great. We're looking forward to that, Rizwan. As always, I really enjoyed talking with you.
Well, it's lovely to see you, and thank you, viewers, for watching. And as I say, check out the link below if you want to know more about PEGS, and leave any questions for Christine and the team in the comments. Until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.